Hello, and a warm welcome to Reddit Echo.
The house you grow up in is more than just a building. It's the backdrop of your life, the container for your most formative memories. For me, that house was a 2-story colonial on a quiet, tree-lined street. I remember the excitement of moving in the smell of fresh paint and cardboard boxes, the thrill of claiming my new bedroom with its window that looked out over the backyard. It felt like a fresh start, a perfect canvas for a childhood. But every canvas has its underlying texture, its hidden imperfections. Ours revealed itself, not with a bang, but with a whisper. My name. It started not long after we'd settled in. I'd be in my room, lost in that deep, immersive focus only a child can achieve, building a Lego spaceship, drawing, reading a comic book. And then, clear as day, I'd hear it. My name. It was my dad's voice, unmistakable in its tone and timbre, calling me from the far end of the house, from the direction of my parents' bedroom. "Hey, narrator's name! Come here a second!" It was never urgent, never frightened. It was casual, the way a parent calls you to help with a chore, or to show you something. So, I'd put down my toys, get up, and walk down the hall. I'd push open the door to my parents' room to find my dad reading a book, or my mum folding laundry. "I'm here," I'd say. "What did you need?" They'd look up, their faces blank with confusion. "We didn't call you, sweetie." At first, it was a minor curiosity, a funny quirk. Maybe the house had strange acoustics. Maybe the wind whistling through a crack in the window frame sounded just like my name. Or, as I started to believe, my parents were playing a very persistent, very clever trick on me. Kids have a wonderfully simple view of the world. The idea that my mom and dad were conspiring to gently prank me was far more logical and far less frightening than any alternative. I'd play along, giving them a knowing smile, convinced I was in on the joke. "Okay, sure, you didn't call me," I'd say, rolling my eyes playfully before heading back to my room. But the frequency was unsettling. It wasn't a one-time thing. It happened once every few days, like clockwork. A reliable, auditory phantom. The voice was always my dad's, and it always came from the same general direction, the master bedroom. It became a strange, silent game between me and what I thought were my mischievous parents. And then came the night that shattered that innocent explanation forever. I was in my room, getting ready for bed. The house was quiet, settled in for the night. And then the call came. My dad's voice from down the hall. "Narrator's name." With a sigh, I swung my legs out of bed. The game was getting old. I padded barefoot down the dimly lit hallway, ready to confront my parents with their own silliness. I pushed their bedroom door open. The room was warm, lit by a single bedside lamp. Both of my parents were there, my mom propped up in bed reading a novel, my dad already under the covers, half asleep. Before I could even open my mouth to say, "You got me again," another voice cut through the silence. This time, it was my mother's voice. It was crystal clear, filled with a gentle urgency. "Narrator's name. Honey, can you come here?" The sound didn't come from in front of me. It came from behind me. From the complete opposite end of the house, the living room. My blood ran cold. The world seemed to tilt on its axis. I stood frozen in the doorway, my eyes locked on my mother, who was physically right in front of me. Her lips hadn't moved. I looked at my dad, who was blinking sleepily at me. In that single, heart-stopping moment, every childish notion of a prank evaporated. The logic I had built my world around collapsed. They weren't tricking me. Something else was. I don't think I ever brought it up with them that night. The fear was too deep, too confusing. How do you tell your parents you heard a ghost mimicking their voices? I carried the secret with me for years, a cold stone of dread in the pit of my stomach. The voices never stopped. They just became a part of the house's soundtrack, a phenomenon I learned to quietly dread. Years later, a potential answer emerged. My brother was diagnosed with partial narcolepsy. As we learned more about the condition, I discovered that one of its lesser-known symptoms is hypnagogic and hypnopompic hallucinations. Incredibly vivid, often auditory hallucinations that occur just as you're falling asleep or waking up. A wave of relief washed over me. This was it. This had to be the explanation. My brain was simply playing tricks on me in that liminal space between sleep and wakefulness. I went to a specialist, hopeful for an answer that would finally lay the mystery to rest. I underwent a sleep study, spending a night in a clinical room covered in wires, my brainwaves monitored for any sign of narcolepsy or a similar sleep disorder. The results came back a week later. Completely normal, the doctor said. There's no indication of narcolepsy or any other sleep-related disorder. That diagnosis, or lack thereof, was in some ways more frightening than the voices themselves. The medical explanation, the clean, rational answer I had been clinging to, was gone. I was left with the original terrifying truth. There was no explanation. The house still stands. My parents still live there. And whenever I come to visit and stay in my old bedroom, the tradition continues. I'll be lying in the dark, the familiar contours of the room around me, and I'll hear it. Faint, but clear. A voice from the other end of the house, calling my name. It's a sound that instantly transports me back to being that confused, frightened little kid. I'm an adult now. I have a life, a career, a rational mind that deals in facts and logic. But that house and the voices within it defy all of that. They are a reminder that some mysteries are never solved. Some houses don't just hold families. They hold echoes. And sometimes those echoes know your name. To this day, I have no idea what was calling me all those years. I don't know if it was a residual echo of a past occupant, a playful spirit, or something more sinister that simply enjoyed mimicking the voices of the people I trusted most. All I know is that it was real. And whatever it was, it's still there, waiting for me to come home.
Don't want to lose this channel and always be up to date with new videos? Then make sure to subscribe. The story continues, and it's only getting more interesting.